He's the first person, first Indian who has explored North Pole, South Pole, Greenland, ice map, and he has done 7 summits along with his daughter, Dia. Many congratulations, sir. My second guest is from Indian Armed Forces, Colonel Ashwini Pundir. He is now the additional CEO of Uttarakhand Tourism Development Board. My third guest is Sanjay Sharma. He runs the Eco Glam camp in Kanatal. And my final guest is Vaibhav who heads the Equaterra tourism, again in Uttarakhand. So, today we'll be talking about adventure tourism, and adventure tourism here in India itself is in a very nascent state. I believe the total industry value evaluation, if we do, it's not even $1 billion yet. Though it's expected that by 2028 it will be $2 billion. And we already have new policy guidelines on adventure tourism at a national level. Things are moving. But specific to Uttarakhand, and this is my first question to all of you, one by one, specific to Uttarakhand, how Uttarakhand can contribute to adventure tourism in a sustainable way? Because it's very easy to talk about adventure tourism or luxury tourism or any form of tourism, but the more important part, because Uttarakhand is ecologically very fragile, so how it can be, it can contribute towards adventure tourism in a sustainable way. I would start with Mr. Bajaj.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deka, for having us here. I'd like to begin by giving you a few global figures. So just before the pandemic, adventure tourism was a $683 billion industry globally. And as per projections, it was to be $1 trillion industry by 2024. These were pre-pandemic projections. So globally, adventure tourism is really, really booming, I would say. And our country as well, at a national level now, we have a national strategy for adventure tourism. The Government of India, Ministry of Tourism, has constituted a board for adventure tourism. We've already had 4 meetings. And our vision really is, as you are aware, India has it all. You know, our natural heritage is rated number 6 in the world. We are a biodiversity hotspot, and we have every conceivable geographical terrain in our country, and 73% of the Himalaya, 7,000 kilometers of a coast as well. So we do believe our vision is to have India ranked as amongst the 10 best global destinations for adventure tourism in the world in the next 10 years, right? Coming more specifically to Uttarakhand, I think Uttarakhand is a mountain state. We've got Nanda Devi, which is worshipped as a mountain, but not just Nanda Devi. Uttarakhand could become a mountaineering and trekking destination, not just for the country, but for the entire world. We've got some of the best whitewater rafting rivers you can get anywhere in the world. I think Uttarakhand is a perfect blend of culture, nature, adventure, and of course, spirituality, being also the yoga capital of the world. But like you very rightly said, I think the 2 main pillars here are risk mitigation. When it comes to adventure tourism, we do have to ensure that as adventure tourism starts booming in our country, and more specifically here in Uttarakhand, we are very mindful of ensuring that the safety of the adventure tourists, and also ensuring that we strictly follow a leave no trace ethos, and really ensure that we are absolutely sustainable when it comes to adventure tourism.
Colonel Pundir, how can we bring some armed forces discipline to adventure tourism in Uttarakhand?
Thank you, Dega Sahab. Firstly, thank you for including us here in the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, Uttarakhand is one of the first states to have its own adventure wing. So, while Sir just mentioned that we have an adventure board now, I am a part of that board. You'll be surprised that Uttarakhand has been giving very, very valuable inputs in terms of the policy making, how we should go ahead, the best practices, because we have an onus of responsibility. We are one of the states which runs the biggest rafting industry in the world, I would say that. Rishikesh, as you are aware. Today, I mean, I was here, I raised this wing about 2.5 years back, and I'm still in service, I'm still from the army, I'm here on deputation. So at least the state had a vision to get in certain players, like he said, to get the discipline. We are trying to not enforce it, but quietly and politely request people to look at the angles of sustainability, the way he said, the 17 SDG goals. Secondly, safety factors, because we have the ATRC, which is the Adventure Tourism Rescue Center also. This is part of the Adventure Board in place. And we have an onus of responsibility, like I said, to provide a best practice. Just by saying that we have paragliding happening, we have a lot of trekking, it's a huge business, a lot of mountaineering. Let me also in the same breath also just give you a very good input that we have our 2 first adventure rescue centers coming up. I had a meeting with the DGP sir. So the SDRF would contribute, and in Rishikesh, 3 blind mice, and we have the golf course rapid where the maximum accidents happen. We are going to position the SDRF as part of a rescue center. So this is primarily a thing aimed at getting the ATRC into place. By the time the ATRC would come through as a document, we would have the exact thing on ground. So the figures which Bajaj Sahab mentioned, the figures we would achieve in terms of adventure coming to that level, the volumetric growth would only happen if you do something about it. If you do nothing about it, that growth is not for you. So Uttarakhand, you are aware now, is the best adventure state. Last year we received this award, and I think we are way ahead. Not in terms, I would not say that it is not a competition. It is not a competition. The other states are also with us. As part of the board, we are trying to share our best practices. Whatever policy level interventions, whatever deeply we go, we share with them. We always share, because after all, we are looking at a state where what he said was to make India amongst one of the top few adventure destinations.
Mr. Sharma, because you run the Eco Clamp, I will add one more question to that, because apart from the people who run it and the government and the authorities ensuring safety and sustainability, also the part of the behavior of the tourist, which is also very important in this aspect, because in India we see that a lot of tourists behave a little bit irresponsibly. So if you could focus on that part also while answering the question.
Thank you, Kaushikji. We are the pioneer in creating a glamping retreat in the country. Started with Eco Glamp a couple of years back when the pandemic was still there, and we wanted to come up with the new idea of delivering to the tourists coming to the place. And now everybody doesn't want to go. Like the pandemic, behavior has changed. As Kaushikji, I would like to know, the behavior of the people has also changed now. They don't want to explore the concrete walls. They want to come into the nature. But luxury is the priority for them. So normal camps won't be suffice in future. So we opted for creating a high-end level camps. So the permission is for the camps, but it is a glamping, which is the word came from the glamour and adding the camping into it. Today, the luxury segment in the worldwide is already crossed $1.28 trillion in 2022 and targeted to reach nearly $2.32 trillion by 2030. So luxury is the main feature which people are looking into. It's not about only going and exploring the mountains. Yes, definitely we have to teach the people about maintaining the ecological balance, which we did it while making the project. I'd like to share that. We haven't cut a single tree in making the entire project. We were in the mid of the Cordia forest. We haven't touched the concrete part over there. 90% it is all temporary structures. So it is only the retaining wall which we have to give it. We have to structure the positioning of the camps. But adding the beauty, the result has paid us very well. This summer season, it was really too good, beyond our expectation. So looking to the response, we went for our next expansion, and more units are ready by within a month. It was delayed because of the heavy rains. And sustainability, when I talk about sustainability, our project is 100% safe. It is earthquake proof. There is like, when we haven't disturbed the environment surrounding us, we have added the local community into our picture. We are training the local people. Rather than getting the people from IHMs, we are training the local people over there. We trained them for 6 months before the project was starting. Everybody was trained, and the response of every guest is on a 5-star rating. So we don't market just like we want to give ads. It's word of mouth, and the social media, definitely we have to take care of the technology part as well. So overall the things are changing, and I think luxury has to be the part of adventure now. Like I have gone to the trip with Uttarakhand Tourism Department to Jadong for the border tourism port. So government also are willing to bring out the different avenues and new places. But I was just discussing with Ajit ji that if we are looking to such places, so we can start with creating events first, bring the people to that place, because you don't need much infrastructure for the events. But creating a project on a large scale will disturb the environment. So this glamping is already in place. After our project started, there are 2 more came up in Kanatal. More are coming up in Uttarakhand and across India. So it is taking shape now in India, and looking forward to have another 5 more projects in coming 5 years in Uttarakhand itself.
Mr. Kalra.
Thanks, Kaushik. I second Colonel Pundir with what he said. Uttarakhand has got a solid framework in terms of rules. It's a great model for the rest of the country. The rafting management system is in place. I think we need to look at it holistically in terms of what your question was. Sensitive management planning. I'll give you a chota sa udharan. I mean, a town only 40 kilometers from here, Rishikesh, reinvented itself during COVID-19. You know, it became a very popular destination, totally reinvented itself in the entire stretch. And fast forward to 2023, it takes 3 to 5 hours to cover the last 30 to 40 kilometers. So we need to, Uttarakhand also needs to educate its incoming tourists, sensitive traffic management plan. Sometimes there are no cops on the road till 9 o'clock, and there are miles of traffic jams. It is inhibiting tourism. So that's some sensitivity that we need to build into how we need to educate our tourists coming in. Also avoiding issues in the future if we are not looking at it from a sustainability point of view. We have had a bugyal ban in the higher trekking areas. वो ban कई सालों से is in place. We are not being able to convince the Honorable High Court to reverse it. There had been in 2015 there was a beach camping ban. An absolutely world-class boundaryless product was shut down forever because we could not manage the activity. And so access control is something that will be very important. आपने सबसे सुना होगा हमारी जो टूरिज्म इनफ्लो है कुछ साल पहले 1 करोड़ थी, अब 5 करोड़ से ज़्यादा है. This is besides the religious tourism traffic figures. So ये issues हैं जो manage करने हमें. Access control will probably be a very big part of how Uttarakhand manages its tourism in the coming years. And taking off from what Sanjay said, yeah, I think in today's world, small is big. Big does not mean big buildings, big resorts. The smaller it is, being sensitive to the lay of the land, जो भूगोल है हमारा उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हमने देखा है पिछले महीने में जो त्राही हुई है हिमाचल और उत्तराखंड में. So I think it's a holistic approach that the state will need to adopt, Kaushik.
We saw the flood in 2013, and even now floods are happening. And quite often in media reports are also there that rampant construction is happening in the name of tourism, and fly-by-night operators in the field of, especially in the field of adventure tourism. The moment we open Google or we look for any adventure, then there will be probably thousands of operators who will be offering different services without probably any regulation or any license. So this question is to Colonel Pundir. How do you plan to, or what are the steps you have taken to stop these two things? One is the construction in the name of tourism, without the way Mr. Kalra mentioned about thinking about the nature, or not going big scale, but you can go small and carefully move forward. So what are the steps you are taking, and particularly in the field of adventure tourism, those fly-by-night operators, to tackle them?
Yeah, so you see, I will not be wrong in saying that a lot of thought process has gone into it. Last about 2.5 years, we have been constantly looking at these challenges, because the challenges here are that we are in high hills, we are having a very, very eco-sensitive and a very fragile zone. We have to conduct our activities here. There is a lot of tourist influx, especially post-COVID, you are aware. And you'll be rather surprised during COVID also. The rafting industry and the paragliding industry still did some work. In fact, TOI had published an article on it, that during COVID also, we were offering services and people were, so as to say, not out of job there. But now the challenge always remains that people of Uttarakhand, they have to be here and they have to work here. So Palayan is a major issue, you are aware of that, right? So how do you manage that balance? So like he said, the government focuses more on the homestays nowadays. So we have, you see, a very beautiful setup in the hills. A small hut or a hamlet somewhere doesn't disturb the ecological balance, as long as we follow sustainable practices. Recycling of water being one, solar recharging, groundwater recharging and harnessing. All these are very, very good and sustainable practices. The way Sanjay Saab has mentioned, I had at the very inception stage seen his set of eco-glam pods there. And initially it was a surprise to me also that how would you be able to run it? It's something like putting a tent somewhere. That really does not do that much of harm if you manage the garbage part of it. So mostly when you talk about mountaineering, we talk about trekking. Trekking is almost everywhere. Mountaineering, we have the best climbable peaks. While we are promoting it, we are looking at footfall, because naturally the complete economy of Uttarakhand rests on tourism per se. And now adventure tourism is a major part of it. Almost, it's a global phenomena. We have very good destinations like you've seen Oli, but we also have challenges in terms of Joshimath happening. You know, we have Rishikesh, which is a major hub. However, there are challenges in terms of what was just mentioned by Kala Sahab, that too much of traffic jams, pollution, garbage management, human waste management, these are all challenges, because these areas were or are rather not designed to support that kind of human intervention. So while we look at homestays as a very good option, the other option which the government has taken is to bifurcate these areas. Uttarakhand is not only about Mussoorie, Nainital, or these hubs like Rishikesh. It is all about going to the interiors, having a beautiful set of feeling, and going to those places, having a look at the culture, eating the food which people ate. They are now very, very hot products. झंगोरा कोदा जो हम खाते थे, वो आज के डेट में आपको बहुत महंगा मिलता है. जो घी आपको वहाँ मिलता था वो ऑर्गेनिक है, हर चीज़ ऑर्गेनिक है, बिकॉज वहाँ कोई इस तरह के केमिकल्स यूज़ ही नहीं होते, वो कॉन्सेप्ट में ही नहीं है, गोबर की खाद ही चलती है. सो एवरीथिंग वंस यू कम हियर टू द हायर रीजन्स ऑफ उत्तराखंड यू विल फाइंड इज मोस्टली ऑर्गेनिक, एंड दैट इज व्हाट पीपल आर लुकिंग ऑन. मुद्दा यह है कि उसको किस तरह से हमने एक अच्छे ढंग से, लोग सस्टेनेबल प्रैक्टिसेस करते हैं, प्रॉब्लम ये हो कि लोग कम हो गए, पर्यटक ज़्यादा हो गए, तो हमें उनको हर जगह फैलाना है. और मेन इशू जो आपने बताया कि रोड्स और ये नेटवर्क जो है इनमें प्रॉब्लम आ रही है. द मोमेंट यू कंस्ट्रक्ट मोर रोड्स टू हैव अ इनवर्ड मूवमेंट, पहाड़ वगैरह दरक जाते हैं. सो नाउ द फोकस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट एज ऑफ नाउ, यू सीन बिकॉज ऑफ केदारनाथ जी, we have a lot of helicopter movement, right? So this may be one of the states, if you compare it to Himachal, Himachal has almost negligible air traffic as compared to this thing, Uttarakhand. And Ministry of Civil Aviation also recognizes us as one of the players which has a large number of aviation. So if you see, we are looking at our helipads, our airstrips, where without intervention we can go for a like luxury segment tourism. Mass tourism की जगह class tourism पे आ जाते हैं. कम लोग आइए, सस्टेनेबिलिटी प्रैक्टिसेस पूरी हो, आपको हम यहाँ से बाय एयर, बाय हेलीकॉप्टर्स ही आपको ले जाते हैं, उतनी कम रोडों की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. द एरियाज विच आर नॉट सर्व्ड बाय रोड विल ऑल्सो गेट कवर्ड. सो वी हैव अ लार्जर प्लान ऑन इट. Large number of things are happening. You know, Bairagi camp, we've already made one airstrip. It is for aero tourism only. Kalsi, we would be going in for one more. We've selected the land. They're going in for fun flying tourism. Right, we catch you at Haridwar or Rishikesh areas only, much before you even enter the hills, show you the areas, show you our glaciers, show you our boreals from the air itself. You see the natural beauty. You cannot actually reach there even by doing mountaineering. It would take you 21 days to even acclimatize. In 1 hour I can show you all that, bring you back. So that is the kind of tourism we are looking. Of course, one has to pay for it because these things come at a price.
I'm sorry, I would have liked to ask other panelists also the follow-up questions, particularly whether they are satisfied with the government efforts or not, what their suggestions should be. But as it's written, time's up and Said is staring down me. So I would have to conclude this session. Thank you so much. Sorry for the shortage of time. Probably we could have continue the discussion in our lounge. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Kaushik. Raj Chengappa ji, Group Editorial Director, Publishing India Today. आप सभी का सम्मान है. ज़ोरदार तालियों के साथ हमारे मेहमानों का स्वागत कीजिए. धन्यवाद के साथ 3 बजे हम लोग फिर यहाँ पर मिलेंगे, लेकिन 3 से बिल्कुल देर मत कीजिएगा और भोजन आपका इंतज़ार कर रहा है. थैंक यू वेरी मच.